can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. When I switch my mic on.
Hey,
Yeah, of course.
yeah, well, you have much better sound than I think I do.
Well, yeah, I'm Bobby Shadow from the Bad Beef Show on YouTube. Yeah,
Well, I didn't know that.
yeah,
I'm very YouTube illiterate. I've got sons who are probably YouTube literate. I'm like three times their age. So there you go.
yeah. Well, I'm part of the live streaming community before Periscope, and actually before Meerkat. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Huh?
I've heard of Meerkat, I think,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
forgive me, I just don't know a lot of people out there who are doing the YouTube thing. So, tell me, Bobby, first of all, are you from Newport Beach? You said?
I
Did I see
grew
that
up.
right? Or
Yeah, I grew up in Orange County. Yeah, and
okay.
I,
Yeah, I've got
and I
family in San Diego.
yeah, and I also retired from local government in Orange County. I retired at 50. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't look that old. I'm 57, so
Okay.
you're looking good for over 50, my friend.
I'm 1 year younger than you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, oh, I see. Troy is saying Bobby is the live streaming king. All
Yeah.
right.
I'm not really a
So,
live streaming king, but yeah, I'm
yeah,
perfect for whatever questions you want to ask me. I'm more kind of Bobby off the wall with thoughts.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Bobby, so what probably the barometer on the read on the country better than anyone. Do you think we're going to have, regardless of whether people go out on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, do you think there's going to be a silent night kind of thing a week from now?
Yeah, I mean, definitely go out and look at the Christmas lights. Yeah, and just be safe. You don't want to be hugging on anyone or I mean, I have this like fantasy to have my mask on and just like, find a beautiful girl and do a little mask kiss maybe. Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, have you
Sort of
have
like
you ever
the
yeah.
sailor and the nurse in Times Square, right? Yeah, in World War II.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, if you're two people that are in love, or if you meet someone, definitely. I mean, you can kiss the top of the girl's hand and hold her hand and go walking at the beach and party up.
yeah,
But I mean, to like
yeah,
French kiss, no, don't French kiss her until you get the vaccine. Of course. Yeah.
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 So that's the COVID side, and without, I meant it more. I mean, that's a great perspective on the COVID
Yeah.
side. But and this is where I wanted to share the video from YouTube. I looked back at the World War I video with the Germans and the English coming together and sort of stopping war for 24, 48 hours, and they went back to killing each other. My question really is, are we in America going to put aside our arms for even a brief moment, whether it's Christmas or Kwanzaa or whatever it is, end of Hanukkah's tonight, whatever it is that is the benchmark, are we going to put aside our arms and come together, even if we go back to warring against each other the next day?
Yeah, I think that everyone's going to come together and drop off their presents from a distance. Yes. And do a silent night. And then the day after, oh yeah. Everyone's going to be for, Trump, staying in office, and the other half is going to want to kick him the fuck out. Yeah, definitely. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's the
Yeah.
tone. That's
Yeah.
the tone of the country right now.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
totally know.
it's funny that, yeah, yeah, Orange County especially. It's a very anyway. Um, the I was just struck thinking, and I was also thinking, okay, 1914, that was the beginning of the war, and it lasted another 4 years. And thinking it was great while it lasted for the Germans and the English for that 1 or 2 days, and then they went back to killing each other. And the Germans brought in that heavy artillery for it was kind of a technological advancement, and it was obviously devastating. And that's where we first saw shell shock and everything. And so, without being too metaphorical, because we were talking about real lives then and real lives now, you know, I'm a pretty hopeful, optimistic guy, but I start wondering at what point do we reach the point of fracture where it's going to be really hard to come back together after this whole thing is done?
I mean, it's kind of hard for me to answer that because I'm kind of in between, not really in between. I am German. You know, I'm Austrian, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and then that's on my dad's side, and then on my mom's side, I'm actually Puerto Rican. So, and then
Okay.
my mom and dad created me in the state of New Jersey, to where
Huh.
I'm a privileged, white, American.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm more of someone who's like you. I kind of just buy my parts and put them together to where I'm ready for someone who wants to challenge my household.
Yeah.
I'm not going to carry in my car, but I am fully connected, and I have my own stamp that I stamp my products that I create, to battle, the Philistine, so to say, in the end days of what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But otherwise,
Well,
I'm ready. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. That's interesting background you have. I'll see your privilege and raise you one. I grew up on the Upper East Side of Manhattan, and so
Yeah.
I had all the privileges of growing up in that kind of setting. And
Mhm.
even though I grew up in the city in the 70s, so I was born in 63, you were born in 64.
Yep.
I grew up in the city in the 70s when it was just really kind of a shithole, right? I mean, that was when Mayor Beam was there, and then actually, yeah, it was Beam, it was Lindsay, Beam, and
Yeah.
then Koch. And in 75 was when, I think it was misquoted,
Yeah.
President Ford said to the city, drop dead. I think that was a misquote. But in any event, the president wanted none of it. And Felix Rohatyn came in, saved the city. But the city was a wreck in the 70s. And I
Yeah.
routinely, from whenever I was like 10 years old and on, looking like I do, I routinely got mugged by kids who did not look like I was, or punched in the face, or whatever.
Yeah.
That said, for some reason, in that environment, there was a sense that that's just the way you were, and it wasn't personal. Now it feels very personal with each other. It's
Yeah.
ideological. It's personal. It's maybe because we're adults. Like my kids growing up in the city, you know. Like I remember we have three boys. My youngest boy has very, very fair skin, and he went to school. He was in first grade, and he came back and he said, about his friends, and he said, uh, uh, "Oh, that boy with the brown skin on." Like he didn't say the black kid, this kid, that kid with the brown skin on. Like that's the way he thought about it. Like he just thought about it like it was an exterior. It wasn't who they were, which I know some people would disagree with, but the way he saw the world was he just saw it as a person with brown kind of coloring. He just saw him as a person. And as adults, it seems, and I'm generalizing, I know, as adults, we view each other through the filter of our ideologies, I think, and it's easy to demonize each other. And again, that's kind of a very broad generalization. What do you think?
We my mom and dad, or my dad, grew up, in the Bronx and Long Island, Brooklyn, throwing bottles on each other from the roofs. But I do familiarize with you, as in my mom and dad. I mean, we were very young back then. And I moved, my dad bought a Softy, Mr. Softy ice cream truck, and drove us to California, Ontario, California, right near where I live now, when I was 5. So I didn't really, I don't remember, all the things that you're talking about, but I have had reverse, what is it? Stereotype as a white person, that I'm not accepted, as in when I'm eating at McDonald's, people of color would, you know, laugh at me, you know, because I look like a clown, you know, redheaded white guy, you know, and I'm loud. I'm fucking loud, you know, loud person when I talk to people. You know, people
That's
don't
your
like
Jersey. That's your Jersey background, right?
yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And well, I get it from my dad. And, you know, my dad was very loud and very, you know, loving at the same time. But my mother was very quiet, you know, so I got that quiet, you know, personal, you know, kindness about me, you know, help, you know, to, you know, I'm like in between the two to where I help people. And I have a lot, you know, I have a lot of friends, which I think you probably have a lot of friends too, by how open you are with your thoughts. But yeah, definitely. The you know, I do notice what you're talking about with my neighbors, you know, a lot because they are of that side, and I'm from the kinder, you know, from the kind side, and I do tell my neighbors when they talk about, you know, being angry at, I mean, even children, I tell them, you know, you know, if you were to do the things that you're talking about, you know, you may be arrested. You know, we have authority here, you know, and you know, I retired from the local government, you know, to where I emptied trash for, you know, FBI, CIA of Orange County. You know, I understand both sides, and they don't care what your liking is. They'll arrest you. You can say anything you want. And if they feel as though you've criminalized yourself, they will take you in. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
You got to think twice. Think twice before you act. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. I'm curious to hear anyone else on this broadcast if this has happened to them, because part of my motivation in choosing this topic, of course, was politics. And you know, I'll just put it out there because I think so. So one other quick preface. So I've heard some of the developers, the moderators, or whatever, say they wanted to create a safe environment, which I respect. And I would hope that this environment gives us the platform to talk about subjects in a civil and compassionate, sensitive way that maybe we can't in other platforms that have gotten really weaponized. Twitter being maybe the most obvious, even Periscope, but Twitter certainly. I mean, it's easy to do smackdowns in 170 characters. But being a Trump supporter, which I am, I've actually lost a lot of friends this year. And I'll be the first to admit that every now and then I've become strident. But I can also say with complete confidence that I've never resorted to ad hominem attacks on people. And I've had a college friend of mine, so we graduated in '85. I've known her for 40 years, whatever, yeah, almost 40 years. She unfriended me from life. I've had a couple other people unfriend me. And then a family member who I met, I was adopted as a kid, a family member who I met a year ago, who I was very close to, I mean, like an immediate family member, also unfriended me for life because of this. And I guess what I'm curious to know from everyone else is, regardless of your political persuasion, or if even if you're not from the US, have you, Bobby, or have others experienced that kind of fracturing or termination of friendships or relationships because of this election year?
Let me turn my mic
And
back
you don't have
on.
to, yeah. And those of you who want to comment, or even you, Bobby, if you don't want to talk about your politics, that's fine. But have you experienced tense relationships because of this, and what does that look like?
I have. I've kind of I don't know the word for it because, you know, I'm just a high school grad, which, you know, I retired at 50, so I don't have to say too much on that. But I have reconsolidated with my brother Ron in Florida, and he's, you know, on your side. And, you know, obviously I'm on the other side, so to say. But there is one thing about me that I love talking to people. And you know, my neighbors, I think they know what side I'm on, but I can actually have a conversation with them. I'll listen to them, you know, where you know, and did I disown my brother? Yeah, I disowned my brother. I haven't talked to him for, I blocked him on everything. But it wasn't really because of what you're thinking. It was more because, he's younger than me. I have 3 younger brothers. I'm a family of 4 brothers. I'm the oldest of 4 brothers, from New Jersey, New York, attitude. And, he's old, we've always been in turmoil, but, I think after all said and done, we still love each other, but, are we going to give each other a hug very soon? No, we live far away from each other. So is he going to come visit me? Probably not. Am I going to go visit him?
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't mind visiting him. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I agree, Bobby. I don't think we're at the hugging stage, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, people do get in fights. I'm married for 23 years. I mean, anyone who's married knows you get in fights. And by the way, if anyone wants to comment, it looks like I'm in a port affair broadcasting thing. So if it gets choppy, just comment there. I also noticed Todd says no, he has not luckily lost any friends or had tough situations. Dean says he had to walk tenderly between friends who were divided. And Bobby, you're the oldest of 4 brothers. Do you think that you grew up gaining any skills as kind of the alpha kid, if you were the alpha kid, that help you navigate those relationships now?
I mean, yeah. I think more of my, all my experiences of all the jobs I've been through, and then, 23 years of working in local government. I think working for the government is the best thing you can do for your mind, because, if you do get in conflict with someone at work, you're going to be called into the, so to say, principal's office or the mayor's office, and they're going to counsel you. And if you fail that counseling, they can get rid of you. Not very easily, but they can get rid of you if you don't comply.
Yeah. That's a good word. For about, you were there for 23 years, you said, in government. Yeah. So I've been a nonprofit fundraiser since 1995. So whatever that is. And since the year 2000 have done major gift fundraising, capital campaigns, major gifts, overseeing a couple of development offices. But in fundraising, especially major gift fundraising, one has to learn how to build and maintain bridges between donors and the organization. So your role is to make friends and keep friends and develop those friendships on behalf of the one that pays you your money. You don't get a commission in nonprofit fundraising, or at least you shouldn't if you're full-time staff. And so one wants to not only avoid controversy, but one wants to, in a sense, kind of be a blank slate, where we're actually not schmoozing. We're actually trying to be kind of just I once saw a graphic of what the fundraiser is supposed to be like. It's like your donors over, I'll make sure I'm doing this on the screen. Your donors over here, the organizations over here as jigsaw piece puzzles, and the fundraiser kind of sits between them and is whatever shape needs to be between the donor and the organization. We're just supposed to facilitate that relationship. And if we get in between there, then we're not doing our job. So all that to say, if, this year, I've been probably too vocal about my support for the president, and had very particular reasons for that. I don't like to try to defend the reasons, although I will if asked. And I try to listen more than anything else. And I would say, going back to my original point, that I haven't blocked or unfriended anyone. But I do find that people who don't agree with me, who have known me forever, I mean, literally like 30, 40 years, have gotten to the point of, the typical call me a Nazi and all that kind of stuff. And I don't mind a nice, robust debate or disagreement. But when it gets that point, it's like, you kind of got to walk out of the room for a little while.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, no, definitely. I've heard stories from both sides. I've heard stories from a owner being on the on the train and actually scaring customers away. I can imagine the stories like what you're talking about in your field. Um, you really there. I think it's kind of cool that you invited me in here. It's kind of cool that we're meeting right now for the first time on Harf. I've never met you before. I think I subscribed to you a couple days ago, from what I remember, maybe yesterday.
Yeah, I'll make
But
sure that I've subscribed to you.
yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
I've already invited about 50 people here, and I'm sure the percentage of people that come here is probably about, I don't know, 10% of that 50. I have about, I don't know, 300 more people to invite here. I haven't really, pounded on it seriously. But I enjoy talking to every aspect of life. I mean, we're all human here of the solar system, because we're actually, we're humanoids here, and we all need to get along. And no matter what country we are from, but otherwise, hey, we were created here to, to argue with each other, to love each other at the same time.
Yeah.
And do I hate Trump? No, I like him. He's good entertainment.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. There. I think there are at least three things I want to ask you. You made so many good points just right now. Oh shoot! Sorry about that. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
I've got a crappy tripod that I'm gonna hold this for a minute. This is not gonna be ideal. In fact, maybe I'll just do
you could
just do this. I'll take
it off. You could lean it on something, because
I'm gonna lean it on my I'm gonna lean it on my laptop. I had it up there so I could comment too. First, Bobby, I noticed that you have Albert Einstein as your avatar, which I think is very apropos, because one of the things I think of with Einstein is that wasn't he the one who said the smarter he got, the more he realized he didn't know. Is that right?
Can you repeat that? Because I have my son in the back playing games.
Yeah, sorry. The smarter he got, or the older Einstein got, the more he realized he didn't know about the universe and life.
I'm not really sure on that. I can tell you my experience of being, 1 year younger than you. I feel as though I feel pretty much the same as, I'll answer Jason also. I feel like Trump right now. I feel like God, at 56. I feel like, what's the guy's name that works for Microsoft?
Bill Gates.
Yeah, Bill Gates. I feel like Bill Gates right now. I feel like I own the fucking world. I feel like I can feed every hungry person, every plant, every animal on earth right now. Just in my shoes, I feel as though if I had enough money, like, what is it? Amazon CEO.
Oh yeah.
If I had all that money, would I help out everyone, like that Asian guy from, San Francisco that wanted to be president? Would I help everyone out for a month? Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So yeah, and this is the perfect time of year to help people out. So the Einstein thing was one thing I wanted to mention. The other thing I wanted to mention is, this goes to your point about all of us being humans and needing to live together. Yeah, and I agree that healthy conflict is actually healthy. I think for me, I actually look for not disagreement, but I look for conversation that might be contradictory, because it hones my thinking and I learn new stuff rather than just hearing myself in my own echo chamber. One thing I'm curious to hear your thoughts on, Bobby, is you mentioned being humans here. As we hear now about, forget about Space Force, but as we hear now about the U.S. trying to send some kind of rocket to that asteroid by 2026 to mine that material, that I heard is one. Let me see. Was it? I guess the whole asteroid, maybe, or some portion of it, is like more value than the combined GDP of the Earth. Have you heard that? It's some
You're talking
crazy
about
number.
you're talking about the value of a rock or dirt.
Yeah,
Is what you're saying?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That asteroid that's going to pass near us,
Oh, okay.
satellite ship or whatever it's going to land on, it's going to mine it to see the value of the material that the asteroid's made out of. But the value, I think it's of the entire asteroid. It's not huge,
Yeah.
but the value of that asteroid is greater than the combined GDP of the whole Earth, of all countries of the Earth.
Okay. Yeah.
So
And
when I think about
that
that,
would be SpaceX, isn't it? That's Elon
it
Musk.
probably is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask you about that and Mars. When you think about that, like that's something that we'd almost all have to get behind as humans. I think there was some series that started, what's her face? The Hillary, she played that female boxer. She got the Academy Award years ago.
Okay.
She's the lead in this series, and it's all about the countries
Yeah.
combining to send a rocket out to Mars. I think it's a really good series. What
Yeah.
do you think about that? About humanity working together on space exploration?
I mean, I'm for space exploration as me individually, but I think that the aspect of thinking about the future and whatnot is kind of, I mean, I'm sure that there's top secret stuff that, I mean, we're probably not going to know, not saying ever, but I think there's stories to be told that are way beyond, mining that meteor that you're talking about. Yeah. And
Yeah,
yeah. And also the solid earth or rock that you're talking about. Can you imagine how many rich people are backing that with Elon Musk? I mean, Elon Musk is, he's pretty much the futuristic Einstein, that you
yeah,
see on my icon. Yeah.
yeah.
And the only reason why Einstein is on my icon is because I was trying to upload, any picture I found, and that was the first one that kind of fit. And it actually fits good. It actually worked on you. It jogged your mind,
Yeah,
and you're coming up
yeah,
with some ideas, and I'm loving it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I just want to say hi to Diane, who I know from Periscope, and there are probably some others I missed up top, and Jason, and some others I didn't get to
Yeah.
subscribe to yet. I will. So yeah, I think Bobby, uh, when I think about space exploration, I think about, of course, JFK saying we're going to put a man on the moon by the end of this decade. It's very exciting, very aspirational. It kind of gives the country something to look forward to.
Yeah.
And then, of course, my cynical side thinks, and this isn't really against Elon Musk so much, but about, we as humans, I think we're fundamentally broken and we need healing. However that comes, we need healing because I think we're fundamentally broken.
Yeah.
But as broken people, there's always going to be a few or more, maybe a lot of us who want to get our little piece of that. So I think ultimately, and actually the series that I mentioned, Hillary Swank, that's her name, Hillary Swank.
Very funny.
She's the lead. That series shows how these different countries get very competitive. And I won't give away the end of the first season. It's very telling about what happens in terms of the country's competitiveness, who wants to be first, who gets the most, who gets the biggest pile of stuff and gold and everything. But, space, whether it's the asteroid or Mars or whatever, is just another place to put your flag on, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. But going back to the original point, I may wrap up here soon.
No problem.
And for those who joined, Bobby Shadow has come on here, and I'm very honored that he has. So for the rest of you who joined, the context of this is, even if you're not from the U.S., you know that we've been going through a pretty heated political season. And with Christmas it's just a holiday. It's Christmas, whether you're a Christian or not. It's Christmas a week away. I look back at the famous story of the Germans and the English having a truce during the first year of the World War I, the Great War. It was December of 1914. And they came together, they sang hymns, I think they played soccer, football, and they shared candy and cigarettes and, bourbon or whatever they drank then. And then they went back and started killing each other again. And so the question I have is, are we in the US going to have a silent night at some point where we all kind of lay aside our arms and at least pause on the season for whatever reason? And then even if we go back to killing each other, are we going to have a silent night? So that's the context for anyone who joined recently, like Bruce or Diane or Yassine.
Yeah.
You've been on for a while.
So I just wanted to input on your feeling on that. I've been doing that. You know, I'm not gathering with a lot of people, but I do have one person that I'm not going to mention their name or their gender, but you know, we're from the two different sides, just like you and I right now. Or you know, we're having a decent conversation. We're not getting mad at each other. You know, you're allowing me to say a cuss word here and there, and I appreciate that. You know, because I know that you're
nothing like a good F-bomb. It really gets it.
Yeah.
We can vent. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're probably on the two different sides of religion also, which, you know, we don't have to go there if you don't want to. And if you want to go there, I'm willing. You know, if you wanted to
I'm
ask
fine
me,
with anything.
yeah. So what I was going to say is this person that I go drinking with, you know, and you know, I'm not supposed to drink and drive, but I'm just like casually drinking. And, you know, I am like a local government guy, so I do know how to protect myself from government. And I do drive around the areas where I know, you know, I know the local officers to where they stop me with lights just to say hello, you know.
Yeah.
So if I am, you know, obviously you want to, you know, if you have a cocktail, you want to make sure it's in a cup that, you know, they can't tell what the fuck you're doing, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but to get to my point, I do understand that what I do is I don't talk about politics when I'm doing that, especially if you're drinking or, you know, if you're smoking weed, which I don't smoke a lot of weed, but once in a while I will, just to correct my mind, you know, but otherwise, you know, we have a decent time. But yeah, I have to sequester myself because, you know, you don't really want to get in arguments with people who aren't open to the topics, you know, of you know, current events, you know, like Twitter. Yeah. So
yeah,
you know,
for sure.
I do have to filter myself of what you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
To certain people.
Well,
yeah.
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 Yeah. Well, it's you know, you've got New Jersey roots in there with the other roots, and I've got New York roots, and most people kind of have thick skins, and certainly beyond a certain age, you know, one has a fairly thick skin. Like when I turned 50, I kind of gave myself permission to not worry so much about what others think of me, because I'd spent, you know, a lot of my life being a fundraiser and always worried about, you know, how am I coming across? Am I doing a good job, et cetera? And I never try to be an asshole to people, but if I say things with a good intention and people get upset, you know, I may apologize if I know that I've hurt them, but otherwise I really don't worry about it. And I don't know where I was going with that, other than to say that, Bobby, you know, I think I find myself willing to talk about anything. And I never get upset what someone says, other than like what I said earlier. If someone just calls me a name, I don't get hurt by that, but I just don't find it helpful for the conversation. I'm like, okay, well, that's conversation ended. There's no, where can you go if someone calls you a Nazi? It's like, there's nowhere to go in that conversation. If you disagree with me on a point, okay, well, let's talk about it. If we can't reconcile the point, okay, maybe we just talk about something else. Let's talk about surfing. Let's talk about, I don't know, why I love chicken enchilada casserole. I don't know what, you know, pick your topic. So, you know, you know, again, at this age, I just love talking to people, and I try not to be too strident, but I know I fail at that a lot. I'm kind of an intense guy. And so anyway, I think there's a great platform, and I hope it stays safe for a lot of us.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So my final injection would be, you know, if I get the chance to talk to you again, or, you know, yell at me in my comments, if you see me go live, and I'll invite you in so we can continue the conversation. But I do look forward to this new year, not because of the change in power, but I look forward to everyone getting back together. You know, I come from the, a lot of people on social media consider me the Blab star of blab.im. Do you remember Blab?
I heard about it yesterday. I didn't know about it, but I heard about it yesterday.
Yeah, so Blab kind of reminds me a little bit of this platform, And the most exciting thing about this platform is that Periscope is ending, and all those people from Periscope are migrating here. So one of the great things about Blab kind of fits into your criteria of donations or having what you can do on this platform is you can have a marathon and you can stream for, I don't know how many hours you can stream on this, but if you were to set up a marathon and have a link where people can donate, I mean, you can, you know, we're coming up on a time here and it may last just a little bit of time like Bitcoin. It may go up and down, but hopefully it goes sky high like Bitcoin to what, 300,000 a coin? I mean, people are going to have money to give away. And if you're not ready for that ship to have a marathon of a donation of any thought that you have, you can make a lot of money on this platform in the, you know, this year. I guarantee this year we will be seeing marathons of donations of any thought. And, you know, the first thought would be being grateful, you know, be grateful for what you have.
Yeah.
And learn and live it. You know, don't let people bring you down. Live it. You know?
You gotta, I mean, you know, I read stories sometimes of centenarians and they say, well, what's the secret of life? Whatever and these people turn 100, you know, usually they still dance and they've had sex until later in their life, or they have a brandy at night. They might smoke a cigar, cigarette here and there, but usually it's, they take it easy. They don't stress. I mean, for us guys, we die of heart disease, you know, #1 killer is heart disease for us guys. So we got to learn not to stress. Even if I get strident or kind of, you know, that's one thing. That's like exercise, getting exercise, but stressing is a whole other thing. Worrying is a whole other thing. I guess my final thought, Bobby, is that, you know, you and I can talk on this platform and everything seems cool. World War II, the countries that were engaged against each other are by and large at peace with each other, or they collaborate. World War I, same thing. Civil War, you know, aside from us Yankees calling Southerners crackers or rednecks or whatever it is, you know, and you know, the whole country is a Confederate flag, blah 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 blah. You know, aside from all that, generally, you know, Americans are together. And so anyway, throughout history, we've gotten through some pretty horrendous stuff and killed each other over oil and land and everything, you know, money, jewels, etc. And I think we get through everything. So when I think about, you know, everything going on in the country, whether a silent night happens now or next week, or it takes a couple of years, I know we'll get through it. You know, I mean, we will. It's in some way we'll get through it. So the only I think the worst thing that could happen is that America becomes like the Roman Empire and we collapse. And I think then, okay, but so the Roman Empire collapsed after how many hundreds of years, but the world still turns, you know? And so I don't want America to collapse, but if it does, hey, you know, it's been a good run and I don't want that. I want to contribute it to going further, but if it goes, then the world will turn because we people still show up, hopefully. Anyway, I hope that's not too Pollyanna-ish, but that's the way I'm feeling these days.
Well, what comes to my mind with your speech is to buy as many, you know, Silver Eagles as you can. This way, you know, not only do you have your rifles and your ammo, like, you know, in your garage, you should be able to make your own ammo and make your own guns, right? And, you know, in your, you know, huge, you know, you should have at least 3, you know, refrigerator safes. But you should be stocking up on those Silver for real. I mean, I'm being serious.
Okay.
Everyone should own about at least $1,000 to $2,000 of, you know, golden eagles or silver coins, you know, as much, you know, gold as you can own. You know, make sure, you know, your safes are bolted, you know, to the ground to where no one can, you know, touch it, and don't tell anyone about it, you know. And you know, do I have a safe? No, I don't. You know, so if someone here, you know,
You wouldn't
Yeah.
want to admit it on a platform. Yeah.
Well,
No, that's
yeah,
yeah.
but
That's a thought.
well, serious. It's serious though.
Yeah.
It's
No, I
serious
believe you.
for people that are on your side. People are doing that, and you know, you look like two people in my life. You look like my wife's boss. All right, he's
I
a
I
lawyer.
hope you like her boss. Okay, a lawyer. Yeah,
He's a
I've never
lawyer
been
in LA,
accused of being a lawyer.
and
Yeah.
he gave my wife a care package, which who knows what he's going to give for Christmas, but he gave the silver eagle coins.
Huh.
He gave like 6 of them, so about I don't know $300 worth. All right.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can survive off of those if it becomes to the end or whatever, and then you want to be armed, of course, which is very surprising that I'm telling you that because you already know that. And
which,
then,
by the way, to interject, I never thought that way until 3 months ago. Never, never in my lifetime.
Yeah.
I was
So
the opposite.
Yeah. So there's another person that you remind me of too, which he's genius. He's he's a survivor. He's a mechanic. He's a chef. And guess what? He wanted me to, give him $30 a month, for, he had a reason, but to me it was like, dude, why? Why do you need $30 a month into your PayPal? Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, just because you've invited me over to eat a couple times at your house? No, it's not going to happen, but
what
it
did
could.
he want it for?
He was in it was kind of like an MLM, and part of the MLM was to feed the hungry. But see, it wasn't going directly to that entity; it was going to his PayPal per month. And he kind of kept on hounding me on it. I'm going like, no, because I learned at like the age of 20 of what a bad investor is. Newport Beach. A kid that's detailing cars. I'm detailing BMWs, and he's taking me out to lunch at a Balboa Bay Club, to get a free haircut. But did I give him some money? Yeah, when I was younger, I that's when I saved my first 100,000 when I was 20 years old. And did I have enough to invest? Yeah, but I didn't invest all of it. He wanted me to invest all my money, but he did rip off people, families of people that were our age back then. I was only 20, so I was just giving him. I think I gave him, I don't know, $12,000. But did I go to the police station to do a depot? Yeah. Did he go to jail? Yeah. He went to federal jail.
Yeah.
But should rich people that rip people off be scared of federal jail? No. It's like Taj Mahal, which is a New York word, Taj Mahal,
Yeah.
So,
yeah. No, I won't keep us on. Just Yassine. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. Do you know Yassine? Did I see that he commented to you, Bobby, earlier?
Yeah, Yassine. Yeah, Yassine. I'm not sure if Yassine. He came from Blab. He was. I forgot the name of his nationality, which I'm sorry. I'm not sure if he's ready to invite up, and I'm not sure how much time you have. But
I just didn't want to mispronounce his name. So Yassine, forgive me if I mispronounced his name. He asked me for thoughts on the presidency. Yeah, it's kind of what we're talking about. The Morocco, excellent. The good surf there from time to time. The long story short is that it's out of my hands. What do I think may happen is today is a critical day because it's 45 days after the election. Trump signed an executive order a couple of years ago that any evidence about foreign interference in the election would have to be presented today. And if there was foreign interference and any domestic collusion with that, assets and so forth would be seized. If I understand it, Bobby may correct me on this. You're probably more knowledgeable. So today is a critical day. January 6th is a critical day when the Electoral College votes. And then, of course, the drop dead deadline is January 20, where we have to have an inauguration. So we'll have a new president as of January 20, unless something unusual happens. We'll have someone continuing or someone new, and that's what I know to be the case. That's my thought.
Yeah. And then my interjection would be, he's from the Morocco Blab community. He bring his country into Blab, and it was like, I mean, all his, everyone was adding each other, kind of like how you're talking in a stream right now. It's like, hey, we're all cool people, add each other. And that's what Blab was all about. It was like, you know, your hair just stands up, you know, on every area of your body that has hair on it, which I'm not going to mention any spots. But, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, the whole time Blab was open and you know, the staff was right with us. It was like the most exciting time. And it was awesome. It was awesome. They were experimenting with what we do now on video conversation on the web right now. All the stuff that they were experimenting with, we're enjoying it right now. Everything that you can think of video and voice and communication. Yeah. And
yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
Well, hey, Bobby, this really is a true pleasure. Not so much that, because I don't know your background, but you're a great guy to talk to. You're very open-minded, open, very easy guy to talk to. So it's been a real pleasure, I must say.
Yeah, I'm just a janitor. I'm a building maintenance worker for 23 years of local government, and I was the guy who cleaned the councilman's offices. And I'm a campaign professional. I'm the guy who goes out hanging up the signs, you know, 20 feet up on a telephone pole to where, you know, local police can't touch it. And, you know, hey, and I'm for any demographic of politics that will pay me to do that, you know, but do I do that anymore? No. Did I do that after I was working? Yes. After I got off, that's what I did. Yeah. Late at night.
Yeah. Good deal.
Yeah.
Preferably around 2 a.m., 3 a.m., something like that, right?
Well, I got off at 11:30 at night. So from 11:30 at night to, you know, 2 would be the deadline of going home. Yeah. Because, you know, you have what, you know, you have a family.
Yeah, sure.
Stay out all night, you know?
Yeah. Hey, well, Bobby, it's great to meet you here. And
hey, I hope
we'll be seeing each other again.
Yeah.
All right, brother. We'll see you soon. And everyone else, thanks for joining. I see scenes in Tampa Bay.
And
excellent.
Good luck to Trump staying in the office after the 20.
Well, out of my hands, so we'll see what
we
see.
I'm for it. I like my taxes right now. I'm for it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll talk soon, Bobby.
Yeah. Here's what we do on Blab. Just like snap out. See ya.
See ya.